Welcome to Coach My Wellness, a weekly show dedicated to bringing you information about healthy habits and behaviors just for the health of it. Here's your hosts, Joanne and Tammy.
Hi, welcome to Just for the Health of It. I'm Tammy St. Clair.
And I'm Joanne Orshan.
And today we're going to talk about why do you need a health coach? But we also want to remind you a little bit about what health coaches are.
So whether you're embarking on a total lifestyle overhaul or perhaps you just want to tweak what's already working, a health coach can help to increase your chances of success. So there are some signs that we have that might help you realize why you might benefit from the help of a health coach.
Perhaps you don't feel as healthy as you'd like, and when you consulted your primary care provider, they just said, oh, go do this, go do that. Well, a health coach can help you make sustainable changes and adjustments that will have a major effect on your health.
So maybe you're someone who can't stick to your health goals. A health coach can help you better structure your life to more easily meet your goals, whether you want to control your chocolate cravings or perhaps stay with a workout routine. With regular check-ins, you'll feel more accountable and supported in your journey to better health.
If you've ever tried to diet, you're tired of regaining weight and you've been on every diet imaginable and you're feeling discouraged, well, that's where a health coach can help. They can help you figure out what's not working and why. And maintaining healthy weight is more than about what you eat. Your health coach can also help you shed some unwanted pounds by looking at all the lifestyle challenges that may be keeping you from success.
Perhaps you're someone who really wants to eat better, but you're not really sure where to begin. And as we know, diets come and go, and many of them promise a lifetime of good health. It seems to me, Tammy, every week that there's a new book or a new diet that's the new it thing that's popping up all over the internet. And there are millions of people researching every day how to lose weight and what to do. But a health coach is trained in dozens of dietary theories and can really help guide someone toward an eating plan that not only nourishes your body, but your mind and your spirit as well.
Yeah, because all of those pieces go into why we eat what we eat. Right? And that affects us having a diet mentality. Dieting is short term. Lifestyle is for the rest of our life. It's a long-term change. And, doing this, you want to eat better, but you don't always know where to begin. You want to be a good role model for a healthy family, friends, for healthy living. And your priority is to establish your own health habits, but maybe you've got children and you're trying to model good behavior for them or model how you want them to be. I know a lot of parents. I was a nanny in a past life, and, parents that struggle with their weight often have children that struggle with their weight. And so children learn what they live. And so changing the lifestyle changes it for the child as well and makes it so that they don't struggle for their whole life like perhaps you struggled for yours.
Right. And when I've worked with clients, there are so many people that as soon as they tell a family member or a friend that they're on a diet, with everyone's, and I always say with the best loving intentions, people can really sabotage your efforts. I know when everyone was working in offices, it would be going into that lunchroom and there'd be all these, delicious looking snacks and cookies and cakes surrounding. And there was very few healthy options for people. And that can be very lonely, especially when you're someone who's really struggling. So perhaps you're someone that really needs to have someone on your side, someone who can help to keep you accountable, so that you're not more and more confused. Because as I said, every week there's something else to confuse you about which diet, what should I do, how to do that. And what we do, as you know, is that we really work with everyone to unravel their thoughts, pick out what their specific goals are, and help formulate a plan that can work for them. So that's why health coaching might be the answer if you're someone who's really struggling and hasn't been able to have somebody that you felt comfortable enough without judgment to really talk with about how to deal with real life situations.
Right. And I think that's part of the key is the without judgment part, because when you do seek support from those people who know you, when you quote unquote go on a diet, they also know your failures. So while you're seeking support, you're also dealing with their confidence or lack of confidence in you in being able to accomplish the goal that you've set out. And that can be an extra hurdle for clients who are trying to lose weight and get healthier. Now, not only do they have to overcome their own sense of, gee, is this really something that I can do? Because I've tried so many things and I'm going to fail just like I failed in the past. So they've got to overcome their own thought process while also trying to overcome those around them who they have sought support from, but they're not really getting it. It's kind of a bit of support/sabotage.
Right. So just like having a fitness trainer or a career mentor, establishing a pro to help light the way makes achieving your wellness goals a whole lot easier. And starting a wellness journey can really be daunting, especially if it entails making lifestyle shifts, such as changing the way you eat or adopting a sleep routine that is beneficial to you, or perhaps even starting an exercise regimen when you've been firmly planted on a couch for a long time, right?
Listen, I know that when I lost my weight at almost 300 pounds, it was very hard to move until weight started coming off. And so the thought or idea of getting out and exercising was incredibly daunting. And so I actually sought out an exercise person who was there to help hold me accountable, to help get me moving, even though he and I playfully argued every time we met together, because it was my own resistance that he was trying to help guide me through. And I know without him, I would not have been as successful, because he really brought a lot of my own resistance to light in many things when he would ask me to do things and I would fight with him. So we know that coaches can dramatically increase the positive outcomes of clients by supporting and guiding and educating them. He helped me reach my own wellness milestones. And so that's where we're helping other people to get to theirs.
Right. So when we start out with clients, we go through a very thorough health assessment and a conversation about your goals, your lifestyle. And as coaches, we help to create with you an individualized plan that takes into account all facets of your life, from food to exercise, sleep, stress. In the holistic world, we call this the circle of life. I always describe it, Tammy, as a bicycle wheel, where the center of that bicycle wheel is the optimal health plan, where there are all of these spokes that come out from that center. And it could be about relationships, spirituality, sleep, stress, finances, exercise, movement, all of those.
Your job,
all of those different components. And when we look at the scale of how much we're satisfied personally in those areas, it could be on a scale at the center being a 10, which is wonderful, to the outside, which is kind of staggering, that you'll have this very imbalanced life. It's almost like when we were kids and it was the connected dot where you put on the spokes of the line from 1 to 10 where you are in all these different areas. And the truth is that you need to really focus on all of those different modalities, because otherwise you will never get the food right.
Right. Because
you just won't.
The food is it's just the symptom or the manifestation of all the other things going on in your life. And when you talk about, spokes on a bicycle wheel, I took up biking once I lost weight, and you can't move forward if your spokes are not tight. With the beginning of a biking season and you get your bike, quote unquote, tuned up, you're taking it in there, making sure all of your spokes are tight so that your wheel doesn't collapse. And we kind of go through life on these wheels that are collapsing in parts. So it makes for a very bumpy, wobbly ride in a very unsatisfying life. And having the ability to have a coach who helps you to honestly assess all of the areas that typically go into health coaching, like you said, your mindfulness, thoughts, job, relationships, finances, all of that, it helps us to come back into balance if we're willing to do the work.
Well, look, after all, daily life, real life, right? And the responsibilities that come with it, stress levels, work and family dynamics, all of that affects how well you're able to integrate new, healthier habits. That's just the reality. But working with a health coach as your wellness co-pilot, you'll be able to work together with us to help to develop a customized plan for you that takes your individual physical, emotional, and lifestyle factors into account and fits with the way you live, ultimately leading you to permanent positive change. Now, that's very different than most diets that are out there or just lifestyles that people are trying to talk you into to try something new that's gimmicky and might not last. We're looking for sustainable lifestyle change that will take us from morning till night, every day of our lives, and then some in between. And that advice is really safe and sound, right?
It really is, and we also try to have, identify, like, no one is going to live on the grapefruit diet, right, for the rest of their life. You can't do that. So health coaches get granular, and we really get to know you and what might work for you based on what has worked in the past and new research that's come out, and help you identify, listen, this is a really dangerous path that you're playing with and could have a lot of negative side effects for you. And we're there to help you assess real information to get to where you want to go and raise any red flags if we need to, that says, hey, we should not go down that road because that's not a real, really healthy for you.
Right. And every day, as we know, that there are these questionable diet and fitness fads that just hit the market. And that's really pushed along by some very slick marketing campaigns. And some of those trends can be downright dangerous. Others might be less so, but they can also still have negative, energy sapping side effects from you, where a trained health professional, health coach, will be able to help you to identify and integrate sensible practices to enhance your health because they rely on evidence-based protocols. And we also raise red flags when is needed. But again, you're in the driver's seat, so whatever issues are happening for you, then we'll work with them and go with it to help you find a better way.
Mm-hmm. And we all look to our doctors to try to tell us what to do. But, most primary care physicians, if they haven't been trained in integrative medicine or integrative modalities, and that's really a new field that's coming, more and more doctors are getting that training. They really don't get but minutes of that training when they're in med school. I know that some doctors that I've talked to they get less than 3 hours on nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 3 hours of training when they were in their undergrad programs going into medicine 30 years ago, 20 years ago. So they don't know much about nutrition, stress reduction, weight management.
Right. And few healthcare providers are challenged to be able to offer patients recommendations beyond lose some weight or eat more vegetables. And I could tell you, my husband specifically, who deals in critical care, it's very challenged with the workload and with people coming in that are really struggling to help them in a way that's really needed, because it's not just this kind of quick fix thing, right?
Right.
So a health coach is really prepared to get granular. I mean, we spend a lot of time with our clients to really drill down and identify the root causes of issues that you might be dealing with. For example, a health coach might ask you if you have a satisfying social life or if you're experiencing loneliness. Not questions you're likely to hear from most traditional medical staff, right?
And that's an interesting bit that you should say, because I know for a lot of people, for myself and a lot of people that I've coached in losing weight, when we talk about why is my head in the refrigerator door, but I'm not really hungry, and we begin to assess the feelings or the emotions that are going on, a lot of times it comes back to loneliness. It comes back to stress or anxiety. And without coaches asking those questions and drilling down that little bit, doctors don't have that time. So it never goes uncovered. And what I always tell my clients is, if you are unaware of something, you can't fix what you are unaware of. So if you can't identify that the reason my face is in the refrigerator is because, geez, everybody else is out tonight and I'm sitting at home, well, not only am I bored, but I'm also lonely or feeling left out. And so as we go about working on some of those other aspects that a coach can help the client get to, then the client is able to move forward and be successful. Coaches are always actively expanding our knowledge. We're hunting down wellness research, and we're, looking for different things in the news that's coming out on what's happening in the nutrition and the health and wellness fields. We're testing recipes or sharing tips and just giving our clients access to a broad range of things that they may not have access to on their own. Because of how we're trained, we're automatically given a broad spectrum of skills. And so we help our clients on their health and wellness journey by giving them new information, keeping them up to date on things that are coming out in the research. We're giving them new ideas on how to handle different eating situations, how to eat out, how to shop and prepare food for optimal nutrition. One of the things that I tell all my clients is, and I know everybody's heard this, but shop the perimeter. And all my clients go, yeah, I know. Dairy's on one side, meat and all the coolers are on all the edges. Yeah, I got it. And then I ask them, well, but at some point you need some stuff down the middle aisles. So how do you go about that? And, oh, well, we push the cart down the aisle. Part of what I give them is instruction in, when you're in the grocery store, we've all heard shop the perimeter. And what that also means is leave your cart at the perimeter and assess, get to know your grocery store. Gee, the ketchup that I want is all the way on the other end of this aisle. Well, don't go down that aisle. Wait until you're on the other side so that you only go no more than halfway in on any aisle. So that helps to keep you really from doing the impulse buys, which oh, by the way, is what grocery stores a lot depend on. And we help keep you going in the direction that you want by teaching you those little tiny things, sharing those tips, doing all of that, keeping you on a pathway that you get to where you want to be. And the thing is, most health coaches are really quite compassionate people, and we're not all negative. We don't go into health coaching to be negative Nellies. We really are here to challenge beliefs and attitudes, thought processes, because big change requires being held accountable and challenging thoughts in a really big way. And
well, Tammy, both you and I have had really beautiful success that's been sustainable for releasing weight, right? And that's part of why we do what we do, is because we walk the walk of the talk that we talk. And I know that I spend a lot of time, as do you, furthering our education so that we can bring the latest cutting edge information as it's released to our clients to help them, to benefit them. So we're always actively expanding our knowledge base and doing the wellness research out there, looking at the different nutritional news that pops up on a daily basis. I know we both test recipes, we share tips, we take a lot of classes and attend courses. Right now, I am working with you in an emotional eating course that we will use to help benefit our clients who are really struggling with the challenges of emotional eating. And so we're always doing things to be up on our craft, which is awesome. So that gives us a wealth of information and fresh approaches so that we can answer questions that you might have on how to keep your health journey interesting, up to date, and also enlightening. So if you want ideas on how to eat handling out, or with people that sabotage in your life, or how to really read a food label, what does that mean? Everyone thinks they know, but it's a lot of confusion out there. Or how to shop and prepare your food for optimal nutrition. What do you look for when you go to a supermarket? How do you incorporate exercise into your life when you're so tired from all of the work that you're doing on a daily basis, whether it's commuting or it's working remotely at home? Everyone seems to be having a lot of things in their pot to have to negotiate throughout the week. So everyone needs to be held accountable, right? Because changing long-held negative behaviors, beliefs, and attitudes are really challenging. And making big changes often requires being held accountable in a really compassionate, caring way, of course. And a health coach is really the perfect person to do that. Not only in, perhaps one-on-one sessions that we have, but I communicate with my clients all the time through email and texting. Especially, I've had clients call me when they're in a supermarket to look at a food label to see if they're on track. Or if they're in a restaurant, can they have something that's on the menu if they haven't planned ahead of time? And I'm always willing to do my best to get an answer to them as quickly as possible, because it's so important when they're working so hard to make these changes in their life.
Yeah, and having a coach who's available is such an important thing. I actually had a client who texted me one day. She was at a party and was like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" And so she would send me pictures in text, and I would respond back to her like, "Well, if you choose this is, the benefits. And if you choose that, that's the benefits. So you have to decide." And it was sort of that in the real world education that she needed, and the confidence that she could do it, because that was about 1.5 years ago. And she's never had to text me again in the middle of a barbecue party to say, hey, what am I going to do? What am I going to choose? How am I going to do this?
Well, you know what? And that's a really interesting point, because we can give our clients all the education in the world. We're two walking libraries, you and I. We can really spew out information. But information goes really in one ear and out the other unless you're working toward making transformation. It's really all about how to incorporate change. And that's what we focus on a lot, is to help someone go from behavior that's just kind of dug roots, whether it's cultural, by the way, cultural changes. It could be religious changes. It could be dealing with a lot of different things. It's interesting. I work with a lot of women, and they'll talk about, well, but I have my kids in the house. How do I not have X, Y, and Z and this? The kids want that. And it's not about that. It's really about making better choices. And I know that when I went on my journey, one of the things that I did was I took this big, beautiful bowl and I made sure that it was filled with fruit, and I kept it on my countertop 24/7. And it got to a point where I was spending so much money on just buying fruit, because that's what everyone was grabbing. When you put out nutritious, delicious food,
you choose it.
You get to choose it instead of the processed stuff that's sitting in the cabinet.
Right.
With a lot of trans fats and unhealthy things in it. So just because you're eating healthy doesn't mean that food needs to be boring.
Right. And, often when I have clients who make that same statement, well, I have a husband and kids in the house. What am I supposed to do? It's like, well, if this stuff is unhealthy for you to eat, is it not also unhealthy for them to eat? If you're trying to develop new skills and new things in your own life, isn't it beneficial to help them develop skills as well? And I think, a professor of mine once said, information without application is simply words. And, when you're taking notes and you're like, information without application is simply words, it's like, okay. But having done coaching and therapy and stuff with people now for a while, it's really true, because we can give words to people through information for hours and hours and hours in a day. But if the client doesn't choose to apply it, if I don't choose to apply it in my own life, it's just a bucket of words. That's all.
For sure. So I hope that we've answered some of your questions, and we would be so happy to talk with you at any time. We have a lot going on right now. Every Thursday evening at 7 p.m., we are hosting lives on Instagram. So please join us and post your questions in there. We'd love to speak with you. You can reach us on Instagram at CoachMyWellness_CMW. You can also subscribe at our website, which is CoachMyWellness.com. Again, every Thursday night, 7 o'clock. We'd love to interact with you and answer some of your questions and get to meet you and see if that we might be a fit to help you as you go on your own health journey.
And of course, tune in again next Sunday when we host our
360 Talk Radio, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Coast Time. Love chatting with all of you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Coach My Wellness. For more information about healthy habits and behaviors, visit our website at CoachMyWellness.com and follow us on Instagram at CoachMyWellness_CMW for weekly live streams, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. We hope to see you there.